Hi, I'm Sam Fessich from the EduMagic podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to a mini episode of the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. Mini episodes just like this one are released every other Wednesday and feature interviews with educators that were recorded live on location at a conference or event. Please subscribe to the show to make sure that you don't miss any of these episodes. And now, here's the host of the Educational Duct Tape Podcast, Jake Miller.
Hello, duct tapers. Welcome in. Before we get into today's mini episode interview, I'd like to remind you to listen to full episodes of the podcast to hear longer interviews with my guests, my soapbox moments, and content from listeners just like you, the duct tapers. Also, those longer episodes give you the chance to earn a certificate of listening, laughing, and learning that you could turn in for professional development credits. Many episodes like this one that you're listening to right now, however, are not eligible for those credits simply because they're so short. However, what they lack in certificates and episode length, they make up for in awesomeness. Speaking of that awesomeness, let's travel back in time to today's interview, which was recorded live and on location at a conference or event.
Today's guest.
Okay, so we're here again from Teach Better 2019, and I am sitting here with Tara Martin. Tara, I've been wanting to get you on the show, and you came walking down the hallway, and I was like, will you please be on the Educational Duct Tape Podcast?
Perfect. Yes. Perfect timing.
Yeah, exactly. So could you please introduce the listeners to who you are, just in case they don't know? They probably know Tara.
Totally,
but...
yeah. So I'm Tara Martin. I am a teacher at heart, instructional coach. I've been an administrator, I'm an author, speaker. I now work for my publisher, which is Dave Burgess Consulting. I am their PR and communications director. I get to work with novice authors and experienced authors too, and launching their book and their message out into the world.
Nice.
So I get to work with educators just in a different way when I'm doing that part of my role, and then I travel around the nation and talk to teachers and students, motivating them to be real.
Yeah. So you have Be Real, and is that the only book that you've done yourself so far?
I have two.
I thought you had two.
Cannonball In, the picture book.
That's the one I couldn't remember.
Yes.
And that's a children's picture book. Is it focused towards children?
It's focused towards anyone with a heartbeat.
I feel like my daughter needs that one. She's the one that needs to hear that one.
Perfect. It's just, that is one project. I never say this about my projects. I usually feel like I can critique them to the nth degree. Mm-hmm. But Cannonball In is a project that I honestly am super proud of. I think it's a message that resonates with anyone with a heartbeat, literally. And I also think that just the time and the energy that was put into that project just came out just the way I hoped it would.
Well, congratulations on both of those.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do some actual educational duct tape here, because that's what I do. So the way educational duct tape works is we always focus on the problem or goal or need that a teacher might have in the classroom, and then we use the technology to solve that problem. So the technology is always a tool, not the focus. So we're not walking in the classroom thinking, today I'm going to use Flipgrid, or today I'm going to use Pear Deck. We're thinking, this is what I want to do for my students. So my question for you is, how can we peek into the minds of our learners using technology?
Yeah, I love that question, because that's exactly what I wanted to do with Book Snaps. Mm-hmm. So Book Snaps is a digital visual representation of your thinking. And when I first created Book Snaps, it was literally to solve a problem, keep the app on my kid's phone concerning Snapchat. Mm-hmm. However, after, creating this digital visual representation of thinking,
right,
and sending it out to an authentic audience, and then listening to the responses of the learners, I realized that Book Snaps was more than just a little way to use Snapchat for edu awesomeness. Right. It was something that could be used with any picture app, Google Slides, Adobe Spark, Pick Collage Kids. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what app, Seesaw, right, Flipgrid, all of them. And more than that, It can be used in any subject. So book snaps, a lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to go to that session, or I really can't do that. I'm not an ELA teacher. Doesn't matter. You can do it with science snaps, math snaps. What you're doing is you're taking the picture that's inside the minds of your learners, that visualization. You're having them recreate it with a digital platform. And then you're having them share that with an authentic audience. And what happens is everyone could read the same exact passage, or we can all sit in the same exact science lesson, and how we reflect, we're bringing all of our real experiences, we're bringing our own interests, our passions, and our disinterests to the table when we recreate that digital visual representation. So we learned that all the learners create something, and if you do this in Google Slides, it's beautiful because you can watch the slideshow, and none of them are the same ever. Ever. I've done this workshop a jillion times with a lot of different people, and you never see two book snaps that look the same. And I think it's great for teaching our learners that we have so much diversity in our classroom. We also have so much that we need to value and appreciate right there in the learners that we serve. And then as educators, we also need to understand that they're bringing a lot to the table, and we need to be cognizant of that and listen to the way that they're comprehending what we're teaching, because there is no one right answer necessarily for everything, right?
So we're hearing them all.
Right. And you're getting the realness. Like, it's all about letting their real self shine through the app, the learning tool. And I love that about book snaps, science snaps. I don't care what subject you want to put in front of it, snaps. You're allowing them to create, and you're also allowing them to share their mind, what's happening in their mind with you. And how often do you get a conference with every kid?
Exactly.
But could you do exit snaps at the end of a lesson?
You could,
totally. They could all do a selfie and tell you what they thought about that lesson. And it's a good reflection for you, too.
Yeah, really. One thing I really like about what you're saying here is, like 10 minutes ago, before you sat down, we started talking about this, and if somebody said, Jake, what's a book snap? I would say, like, oh, it's like Snapchat, but with books. And I'm like, for me, the word snap is meaning Snapchat, right? But as you're talking about it, I'm really hearing that the word snap really just means like a quick, easy to make image that reflects some kind of thinking, right?
Exactly.
Whatever's going on, right? So we're lacing an image with some kind of thinking about it. And we know from brain science that if we combine image with text, we're going to learn more from it, but also it gives the kids more ways to express themselves too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And here's a softball toss of a question. Do kids enjoy making pictures with text on them?
I think they do. They love it. And especially like for your littles, we'll do real use snaps, which is basically a selfie of them. We use these in Seesaw, even an app that they're very familiar with. I love that you're pointing
out Seesaw,
And they put emojis to represent all the things that they love. And so we learn real quick when we upload that into their little classroom feed what each other has in common, what we have different, and we start to learn that diversity of learning right there in our mix and appreciating it, you know? Teaching them to value all of that.
That's really great. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing this stuff. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you for listening to the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. Please visit eduducttape.com to join the discussion, share possible topics, inquire about being a guest, or contact Jake. And remember, duct is spelled with a T, not a quack quack K.